Hello, my name is Scott for SB Gaming and welcome back to Transport Fever European Freeplay Edition. We are here just sitting outside of Salterton and West Malling. I let a few years tick by since the last episode. I'm not sure what year it was in game, but we can see here that we are down to a loan balance of $3.5 million left. We were at a high of, I think, $4.5 million of a loan. That has come down. I think we were up to like $7 or $8 million in loans. So we've paid that off, and we have, of course, a lot less loan interest, which means, of course, the money that we're making. So we had made $2.28 million in 1864 on $122 million of running costs. That gave us profit of $763,000. Of course, we had $55K in new vehicles. We had one truck station, I believe. Plus, I had actually removed some vehicles off the line, so this is relatively accurate. I did have the issue at the end of the episode where I accidentally put a few trucks here, which could allow this to start producing grain for the food processing plant. I really hate that. It basically stopped producing and delivering livestock, started supplying grain, and even though I had sent the vehicles that could deliver grain to the port, it refused to accept the grain back and replace it with livestock. So I was sitting there for basically however long with nothing happening on that line, as we can probably see. Finances, yeah. We had a drop in income, and actually this is the last 4 years. I'm pretty sure it took 4 years. We had a very low income. We had running costs spiked back up, and yeah, about that. So I had to sort that out all over again. I basically removed all the vehicles off the line, sent them back to depot, removed this stop, and then reconnected it, eliminating the grain that was sitting there, and of course forcing the farm, once it had vehicles online, to only take or send livestock. So yeah, I had to disconnect this line in order to fix that issue. And the reason why I want to do that is because I do not want to send grain to the chemical plant, because that is very inefficient. It requires 2 grain to produce 1 plastics, which produces 1 goods or machines. In this case, I'll probably be sending that to a machine factory instead of the 2 grain being produced into 2 food and making twice the money, essentially. So yeah, about that. So that is why that was an issue for me. If I had a vehicle that I could restrict it, which, like for instance a boxcar, if I ran a boxcar train down to there, very inefficient, but that would solve the issue. Of course, with that said, I'd probably just boxcar the livestock from there over to there and then back to there. Anyway, off screen, other than saving up some money, we did spend some money in new roads. 381 in 1862, 423K in 1863, and I think 1862 or 1861 was the last year of the previous episode, because I wanted to have these on screen to show what I had done. And basically, having the no initial streets mod enabled when I generated this map made this map a whole lot more difficult, because I basically couldn't rely upon sending the farm products up to here at no cost. I couldn't just set up a depot there or truck station and deliver it, set up a line, put a vehicle online very cheaply. I couldn't also send the food this way without building the road or setting up a ship route. So yeah. In 1862, I spent $381 million basically building this stretch of road. And it runs along the coast, and there's a few wonky things, like this little bit of a roller coaster section where I tried to cut costs as much as possible in order to, of course, minimize the amount that this road was actually going to cost. So yeah, it does that. And then in the next year, since I was wanting to pay off the loan, although I think I took the extra loan here in order to do something. What did I do? Why did I have to take another loan in this? Actually, no, in this year. I built a second harbor, I think. Maybe to pay for these construction costs. That's why I might have taken the extra loan. Other than that, I didn't have any new vehicles. I did add some and then sell some. I added a few more in this year here, the current year. So yeah, then in 1864, I spent about, 1863, what was that? 423K on basically this road, bridging there, road over to here, and of course 3 bridges to get across here. Now with that said, if I had basically done this, 179K, I don't know how much that cost overall, but I'm pretty sure it was a significant chunk, and that's probably why I took the loan. I built this bridge to prevent having to spend $200,000 on removing of the field, and of course tunneling under was not really much more ideal. So about that, my plan is to send the products produced over here this way along these towns, products produced over here that way along there, including if I can get this construction materials shipped over here, that would be nice. And of course I will need to build a road down here, and I didn't want to extend time much further just so I can do this on screen and actually show these numbers on screen for the amount of money I actually did spend. We are going to be setting up a couple additional industries. I want to set this up, this food line here, and the plan is either to run a road from here down to here, and so we will run livestock and or grain to here, food back to here, and then I will then either force it to send food this way. So this will be one way. It'll only be able to supply food, which means that it doesn't matter. The grain will never escape here, ever again. Yeah, about that. Or we can, of course, ship livestock this way with a truck that's specified for livestock this way, bring the livestock down here, bring it over here, so that, of course, we can supply Southgate, we could then supply Grays, and we could then ship the rest up that way. Also, we can send the livestock along a boat line if I decide to spend the money to get that ramped up. I would like to, so that's a thing. But I think I want to saturate this part of the map with goods flowing back and forth, and that will of course allow future goods, machine factories and planks and logs and all that to flow. Although with that said, this, I do not want the planks to be shipped to the machine factory, so that will be a negative. And do we have any, in the same way, this is very inefficient. You basically need 2 sawmills to supply 1 machine factory. So yeah, about that. So any goods factories over here? First of all, no, not that I can see. So none over here, none over here. So basically what's probably going to happen when I activate these 2 is I will run logs down here, planks back up here, send them up to the coast, and then ship them out to a goods factory somewhere like over there. And that would be quite the possibility. We can drop them here and then just truck them up that way, and that would be ideal. So yeah, that's the plan for that. That's a future plan. And so the other chain that I would like to get set up is here in Dunwich. It is the quarry up here to Dunwich, over here, bringing the construction materials back, and then shipping them to Askern up this way. We'll also eventually connect that up, so that is a thing. Now we might as well get building because it's been 10 minutes and I've not done anything except explaining stuff. Yes, indeed. So, what is the status of my stops like? We have 20 livestock, and yeah, when this had an issue here where I had grain feeding and I had to sort this out by basically removing all the vehicles off the line and discontinuing this stop here, re-enabling it so it forced the grain off the stop, because of course the farm for some reason thought it could still ship grain. It wasn't accepting the grain back, it wasn't putting livestock back on the line, and the only way to fix that, because I don't want to supply it to the chemical plant. Now we have a lot of, you know what, we are going to throw a bunch of trucks on the oil line, and we're not enough money. Alright, that's fine. Now, do I want to set up the fuel line? First of all, we only have one stop there. This is going to take some investment. We might as well do it. And we're going to borrow $500,000 and the Zoroaster. We're going to set up a new line from here over to here. And this is going to be SF West Malling to Salterton Oil. So that will see demand coming into here for, of course, the fuel, supplying West Malling. And then once we get this line set up, since we did spend the money, we might as well get it operational. And yeah, such a big difference. Makes the game so much harder when you can't rely on the generated roads and you have to build every bit of infrastructure from scratch. Not that bad if you intend to run trains from the start, but if you rely upon road transport to make your initial money, it's a pain. And we are going to run a horse wagon, new line from, we only have the one line running into here. Are we going to want any other lines running into there? Actually, no. What I'll probably do when I connect that up is have a second stop in here. So, yeah. Or I might just run this. It's coming in from here. Yeah, I'll probably just run it up to there and utilize that. Although with that said, depending on where the coal is. Alright, so I had a little bit of a technical issue with the video, but we're back and I didn't lose much of anything, about 9 or 10 seconds worth. Thankfully, my preview window cut out not long after the device had some issues, and it's an issue I've been dealing with for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, ever since I pretty much started on YouTube. Yeah, about that. So what I want to do, I was just checking to see where there was a supply of steel, or not steel, this is a steel mill, a source of iron to bring over. I could bring this down to here. We have this coal right there. Other than that, yeah, we are, once we get steel operational here, and actually it'll be nice, we can get the steel shipped back to here, cross over to Upton, down to here to produce tools and machines. We will need plastics here, which we could probably maybe ship in from here. Yeah, we would just need another ship line here, or maybe the plastics can feed back to here, over to here, or we can supply the plastics from over here. This plastics can supply that as well. With how everything balances out, you actually only need one chemical plant per machine factory. Or no, per 2 machine factories. Since, of course, the machine factory here only requires plastic for half of the production cycle. And this will only ever produce up to a normal limit of 800 rather than the 1600. These combined will create 1600. So where was I? We were going to, yeah, I was talking about how many lines will be coming into here specifically. I'll probably just run a separate line in here so it doesn't conflict. So that is going to be fine. We are going to set this up from there over to here. And we are going to call this RF West Malling to Upton. It is going to be our signature turquoise line, and like that. We are also going to set up a new line from here over to, now I set this up, let's just check this. Rather than coming into here, I now have it coming into here, which provides most of the coverage. Yeah, pretty much. This only covers, this covers a few additional industrial buildings, but that's about it. I would like to make this my industrial hub, push the commercial out this way, residential out this way. If possible, that's where I will be guiding the town. I will make this probably my main street. And yeah, so about that. So yeah, freight will be coming in here. If we set up a freight line with rail, we will probably be sending it up over here and probably sending out that way and sending out that way. Or maybe setting up it here and having it curve around like that. Yeah, about that. So what I'm going to do, we want to build a, I think I'm going to just use this. And I'm going to just, do I want to put it here? As if I ever need to expand that for any reason. First of all, to about there. So if I put that right there, bother. And now, actually that doesn't go away, so we are going to set this up to right there. What I'm going to do is we are going to just small street from there into there, and we are just going to country road, like that, over to there. So now we are going to want the line 1, and that's going to come into here. We're going to call this RF Upton to Grays, or not Grays Exchange, just Upton to Grays. And although with that said, actually we are going to instead designate these lines as, because they're not, yeah, they're not technically RF lines. Well, they are, but they're not. This is going to be O2 F. We want to get rid of the RF. The O2-F designates city-to-city connections for the roads. It's how I keep things organized. Alright, so we have that over to there, that over to there. I might hold off building a road up to there, and instead, alright, so yeah, we spent money on a new ship to connect up this over to here. Now, that means fuel can flow down this way. I'm not going to want to ship it this far. We can just let it filter through the road line, what I'm going to do then is we are going to just make sure, okay, we didn't put a vehicle on the line, not that, we already bought it. We're going to set to the 01 line, and over here, do we have a truck depot? No, we don't. We are going to build a truck depot over here, and we're just going to put it there. We're going to buy horse wagon, and we are going to assign it to 02, Upton to Grays. And what will probably happen is Grays to Southgate will be 03, Askern will be 04, Dunwich 5, 6, probably 7 here, 8 like that, 9, and then 10. And then I'll have to designate numbers for over there. Basically, it's generally in the order I connect up the towns. So, about that. So we have that connected, so that will, once everything starts to detect the demand, this will, presuming of course we have, yep, most of the industrial is in here, so it will see a ramp up of potential, although this refinery over here and this one will be of course fighting for the potential, so yeah, about that. But I'd rather do that, get them connected and get them both to see the demand and then having them fight over it. So yeah, about that. And over here we have, yeah, that covering most of that. This of course covers most of that, so that is fine. This will fill in with a lot more industrial over time. Yeah, about that. Over here, we do have fuel being supplied there. And I had a little bit of an issue with my keyboard once again. It's really annoying. The camera will just take over and it'll just go off in some random direction, leaving you with, yeah. Alright, so what I'd like to also do is we're going to set up some more on the Salterton fuel line just to keep this production flowing. And we got a lot of vehicles here. Some of them are not even, wow. Ouch. Did I disconnect this? Is that why that happened? Wow. Alright about that. So over here, this is supplying with livestock. And now what I would like to do is get this connected up. What we are going to do is, and that has reached its lifespan. You know what? Do we? It's 1865. I'm suspecting the upgraded horse wagon is going to be coming in around 1860 or 1870. So I'm not sure I necessarily want to upgrade, although with that said I could. Although with that said I could also set this to hang on just a moment. Alright, so I have on my other screen a list of the European vehicles. It's a very limited list because I haven't really spent much time with the European vehicles. And it looks like the DMG Canstat is the next vehicle. Wait a minute. Horse cart. Hang on just a moment. Horse wagon. 4 capacity. Okay. Apparently my list does not include this vehicle. Alright, so the first vehicle on my list is the horse cart, which is 1870 to 1925, price of 21.7k, and 20 km/h speed, 5 capacity, 1 weight, which I think is relatively equivalent to the, it's actually very equivalent to the American version, the American horse cart, which comes in at 1872. So for the most part, otherwise identical. Running costs is the same. Lifespan on the horse cart, the upgrade, comes in at 30 years versus, wow, or no, 20 years. It appears the European vehicles have a longer lifespan than American vehicles. So now, do we let this run until 1870 without upgrading? We can always do a replace now, so that's not an issue. Alright, so irritatingly I lost a little bit of video there. What I was in the process of doing is deciding whether to replace this vehicle out, and what was lost is I decided that we are going to set this to a lifespan percentage of 200% just because the new horse cart that comes out, which comes out in 1870, which is in 5 years, it's going to replace out in 20 years. This has a 15-year lifespan, and the next one has a lifespan of 20 years. And so we are going to stick with this if I don't happen to upgrade the line. Not likely, since I'll probably most likely be doing the upgrades. This will upgrade to this at 200%. Automatic replacement is on just because. Although with that said, if we were to replace out 264k, 23 vehicles to be replaced, or 26. That is 10k per vehicle. Interesting. So yeah, these are down to a value of 1.84k. You know, it almost might be worth just leaving them on the line and replacing out later, because if we take a look at, it would be nice if we could see a total value of the vehicles on the line, because really we're losing money, but that is because we had some issues with the livestock distribution. Anyway, we're just going to leave that as is. Although we are not... Yeah, we're going to cancel that. So that is that. We're not going to upgrade any of our vehicles until the upgraded horse cart comes out. So, with that said, we do have 66 and 28. And you are coming over, and you are coming over as well. They got no oil. Yeah, this kind of bounces up and down. Either the oil gets, or the fuel gets distributed there, or gets distributed here. We end up having a lot of fuel clogging the line. If we take a look at this is making us a decent amount. So 194, 195k per year. 90,000 in running costs, so we're still making over a 2-to-1 profit ratio right there, and that is only hauling one direction, so that's not bad. Theoretically, that line could produce in 1865 a 4-to-1 profit ratio. I think better than you can do with trains. So yeah, about that. And so yeah, with our new connections, the fuel will be able to send out there. That will ramp up. We also, at the start of the episode, I believe, set up a new ship to run over like that. Let's let time tick, because we might as well get some time passing. This has mostly been a relatively, unproductive episode, other than building a few stuff. So I was planning to get around to this, and this is where I was at. So I have two plans, and yeah, we're just gonna let that run in 1 speed. We might as well not 3-speed it, since we are using the 4 times slower mod, and just let things run as is. So I have basically 2 options: bring the livestock and or grain from here over to here, bring it back here, and force food to be distributed through here. That prevents any grain from filtering over to here once we set that up, because I do not want to get this set up with the grain, because that's just very inefficient. So it is what it is. And since I actually it'd only take 1 farm to supply that, since I'd be supplying, actually I could supply 2 machine factories. Or two. No, yeah, for every farm you supply this, you can supply one machine factory because it's a 2-to-1 ratio of grain to... So I can either do that and then force food to go up that way, or what I can do is I can bring the grain, or no, not the grain, the livestock, just like I've done up there, over to here, bring it over this way, and then back like that. You know what? Since we are going to be hauling eventually from Grays over to Southgate, I think I actually want to set this road up, get that connected up to this network, and just utilize that for this. So that would be the most ideal of options. So I will be bringing this in over to here. This is currently supplying the Grays transfer, and we are going to set up a truck depot. And actually we are going to use this one here. We're going to use it for the grain as well as the food coming in. Although with that said, yeah, we're going to need to be shipping it over that way. So yeah, we'll throw that there, and then we are going to want to run as cheaply as possible. Our food will be coming into here. That's a hill. You know, if possible, I would like to. 50K would be good. Bring this right into here if possible. Unfortunately, it is on a slope. Oh. No, that is possible. Right about there. Come on. We had it right there. Let's do it. Yep, about that. So that comes right into there. That's actually pretty nice, although the only thing I realized was that, yeah, I can't really, that's a small one. You know what, that'll be fine, because we're going to probably use a transfer line. Now, if we connect this up to here, or maybe this into here, that will then supply in there. Yep, let's do that. And then what I want to do is what I don't want to do, I'm going to learn from my Truck Fever series, is I'm not going to be bringing this into here, over to here, through this line to his truck station here, over to here. I do not want to glut this line with this traffic here. What I will instead do is run a line probably over to here, or maybe a truck station over. Where do I want my freight to come in? Because that's... Fortunately, this covers the entire town, so I can actually put it wherever I want. Which actually makes this... No, I still have to come bring traffic in this way. Do I... First of all, how far does that go? That goes right there. Do I want to build a truck station over here? Not really. How about over here? Not really. Not with that much terrain work. So, and I'd rather not do a short stretch here because that would be. I will probably build a road out like... Actually, I'm going to be going up to there, so... Alright, yeah, I'm probably going to be building my transfer point. Maybe I can build it right there. Oh, this hill in the way. I could bring it around like this. Have the freight over here, maybe. Bring this directly into here. Bring other stuff into here. And then just ship the food the rest of the way that way. You know what? I just might do that. We have 25k in the bank, so we're going to borrow another 500,000. And we want to build a road. Because reasons, although with that said, this episode is running on a little bit long. Although, yeah, I had a lot of explaining to do. Lots of explaining. Do I want to do that? Or should I do this off screen? What is going to be the optimum route to get this through here? Maybe through here. These are slopes there. Looks like. Where is the train? Contour is going this way. Over to here. That train contour line. Actually, this is 140. That is 120. That is 110. 140. So this contour line goes like that. This contour line goes probably like that. Alright, yeah. The only thing about having all these trees is that it's hard to see the contour lines. I really don't want it over there because of reasons. But I don't... Let's just build it. I'll just do this to end the episode. And I'm going to want to bring this over like that. And we want to try to save as much money in the future we can, of course. Flatten it out. You know, that's worth it. Alright, about that. So, what we are going to... I'm probably going to be setting up a transfer station here. Yeah, let's just do it. So the question is... I would have to build it right about here for it to feed directly into that. And then feed that into that. We are probably going to want at least 2. Alright, so good station's basically going to be right here. We're going to put that there. Although, do I want to build the big ones? I'm going to run this into there. We're going to... Anything over here? No. So we just need one line running into there. One line running up to Grays, another running off in that direction. You know what? I think that is going to be fine. We are going to set up a line to go from there into there into here, and then it'll run back. This is going to be RF South Gate. It is going to be the color, is this pinkish purple? it's, yeah, not quite sure what it wants to be. Anyway, at this point in time, what I'm going to do is wrap up here, and I will, off screen, find a good and cheap enough route to send it up that direction. We have a lot of construction to do, and there was a lot to cover. And what I might do is try to run a line running up to Askern as well, just so we don't have to do that on screen. I'll probably run across the farm, and I wish I had the money to tunnel. Maybe come up the slope that way, maybe come around this way. First of all, where is the goods coming in? Basically, probably over here. This is, yeah, allow towns in rough terrain. Lovely. Yep. Anyway, at this point in time, I'm going to take a break here, and we will continue off with more Transport Fever European Freeplay series in the next episode. Thank you for watching. My name is Scott for SP Gaming, and as always, have a good day.